Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Guru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmadgurubhyo Namaha Shrutismrutipurāṇānaṁ Ālayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmete Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namah Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namah Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvāmanusandhadāmi Bhagavad-gīte Bhavad-veshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sankapadakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Dadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantanna Vidusura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. So, Namaste once again, everyone.
Namaste.
Namaskar.
Namaste, Guruji.
Hari Om Guruji.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. So, having completed the 10th chapter titled Vibhuti Yoga, we are now entering the 11th chapter, which is called Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. And as I have told you before also in the introductory talks, that the word yoga coming at the end of every chapter refers to the topic or episode. Like we have in TV serials and all, episode 1, episode 2, etc. But of course, our TV serials go on and on and on endlessly. But unlike them, here in Gita, it is restricted to 18 episodes. Similarly, in the Gita also, each chapter refers to a topic. So, Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga means the episode which deals with Vishwarupa Darshanam, the vision of the Lord as Vishwarupa. So, like we have got Krishna, Rama and all, Vishwarupa is a name given to the Lord. Vishwarupa Ishvara. Okay. So here, this Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga means vision of the Lord as Vishwarupa. Now, what do we mean by the word Vishwarupa? Rupam means a form. Vishwa means the universe. So Vishwarupa means the Lord whose form is the very universe itself. The Lord whose form is nothing but the very universe itself. Now the question will be what? How can one have the darshanam of the Lord in the form of the world? Jagat rupane Ishwarasya darshanam katham sambhavati. Because when a devotee wants to have darshanam of the Lord, say in Rama form, Devi form, Krishna form, what he should do? Of course, as I told you earlier also, scriptures talk about various sadhanas for getting Rama darshanam, Krishna darshanam, Devi darshanam, Lakshmi darshanam, etc. Such a darshanam of the deity is called Devata Sakshatkara, direct vision of the Lord as Rama, as Krishna, etc. And to have such a darshanam, say Rama darshanam, Krishna darshanam, Ganapathy darshanam, etc., the scriptures talk about the sadhana in the form of tapas. In the Puranas, we hear devotees performing tapas. But tapas is what? Tapas is nothing but concentration or meditation for a prolonged period of time. It is not restricted to our type of meditation. Okay. From 7:15 morning to 7:35 in the morning, 20 minutes meditation. It's not like that. Till the goal is achieved, they meditate upon the Lord. So what should the devotee should do? He should first decide which darshanam he wants. So the form of darshanam should be decided by him. And if it is some particular form, say Rama form, Krishna form, Vishnu form, then he has to concentrate on that particular form as described in the respective dhyana shloka. And that is the relevance of dhyana shlokas in all the, namavalis and all we have got, in all the namas. In Sahasranamam, we have got dhyana shloka. That is the purpose of dhyana shloka. That is, before you actually do the nama japa, you invoke the Lord, visualize the Lord. So dhyana shlokas are very, very important. So the devotee has to learn the dhyana shloka and he has to concentrate on that particular description. Take Vishnu Sahasranamam. Meghashyamam Pita Kauseyavasam Srivatsangam Kaustubopastidangam Punyopedam Pundarigaya Daksham Vishnum Vande Sarvalokaikanaatam. There are so many such dhyana shlokas are there. When we took this Vishnu Sahasranamam classes, I have explained the meaning of all these dhyana shlokas. Therefore, the devotee has to visualize that particular form, and generally, a guru will teach a mantra also. Just as Narada taught the mantra to Dhruva, Prahalada, etc. And once the mantra diksha takes place, the devotee has to do Purascharanam of that mantra. Purascharanam means what? Repetition of that mantra. Akshara Laksham or Akshara Koti. Akshara Laksham means you find out how many letters are there in the mantra. And if there are 6 letters, Shadakshari, then you multiply that number of letters with as many lakhs. So Shadakshari mantra has to be chanted, repeated 6 lakh times. And if it is Ashtakshara, 8 lakhs. Or to be more effective, 8 crores. And if it is Dwadashaksharam, 12 lakhs or preferably 12 crores. And if it is Gayatri, you had it. 24 letters are there. 24 lakhs or 24 crores. Shrauta Gayatri. Just imagine how much time it is going to take. In fact, if one properly chants Gayatri mantra, we have this, after Upakarma, the next day is Gayatri mantra japa. If you properly chant with Pancha Avasanas, 5 pauses, chanting 1008 Gayatri mantras, it will itself will take about 3.5 hours. Then you can imagine, now calculate how much 24 lakhs or 24 crores time will take. But that is what is tapas. So you do dhyanam, you do purascharanam as described in the scriptures. And if a person follows this kind of tapas, the Shastras proclaim that the devotee will have the darshanam of the Lord, sakshatkaram of the Lord in that particular form. Not that it is a mental projection, but the Lord himself with his Maya Shakti will give darshanam to the devotee in that particular form. And this exercise is called Devata Sakshatkaraha. And we have got so many stories of many devotees who had the darshan of the Lord and who had even talked to the Lord. And this Devata Sakshatkaraha is Rama Rupa Ishwara Darshanam, Krishna Rupa Ishwara Darshanam, Devi Rupa Ishwara Darshanam. It can be anything. The vision of the Lord as Rama, Krishna as Devi, as Dakshinamurti, as Ganesha, it can be anything depending upon what is your purpose. Because every Devata has got a certain power to give, to bless. So if you want to invoke a particular Devata for being blessed with some particular power, that particular Devata, you do Purascharanam, you do Tapas. Now the question is, if you want to have the vision of the Lord as the world itself, what should you do? In what form you have to invite the Lord to come? Because if you want Rama Rupa Darshanam, you can invite Lord Rama to come in Rama form. If you want Ishta Devata, say Guru Ayurappan, Shiva, if you want Shiva Darshanam, you have to invite the Lord to come in the form of Shiva. But if you want Vishwarupa Ishwara Darshanam, you want to have the vision of the Lord in the form of the world, in which form should you invite the Lord to come and give darshanam? Should you invite the Lord to come in the form of the world? Or how can you invite the Lord to come in the form of the world? If I say you have to invite the Lord to come in the form of the world, that means I have not understood the meaning of the word Vishwarupa. And therefore, this is one of the most confusing chapters in the Gita. Because, we have never been taught to look at Lord as the world. That is not our orientation at all, right from childhood. In childhood, we are told stories of Rama, the Ramayana, some stories of Mahabharata, of course, not all the stories. Mainly stories from Bhagavatam will be told, childhood of Krishna. So we have been, our orientation is looking up at the Lord as a individual Lord, personal Lord as Rama, Krishna, etc. Then even as we grow up and then we start visiting temples, etc., there also what happens? Many temples have got so many deities. Ganesha will be there, Navagraha will be there. Then the main deity maybe Rama is the deity, but then it will have other, there will be Shivalinga also, there will be Lakshmi, there will be, so many other deities will be there. But all of them personal gods. So our orientation is always to look at the Lord in some form, especially human form. That is our orientation. And if I understand the significance of the word Vishwarupa, it means I want to have the darshanam of the Lord in the form of the world. And unfortunately, I cannot invite the Lord to come in the form of the world because the Lord has already arrived in the form of the world right at the time of creation, long, long, long before we were even born, isn't it? As we saw in the 7th chapter, the Lord is both para prakriti and apara prakriti, both nimitta karanam and upadana karanam. And we have the pramanam in Taittiriya Upanishad. Tasmad vaye tasmat atmana akashas sambhutah akashad vayuhu vayor agnihi agnerapah adbhya prithvi. So the Lord has already arrived first in the form of Panchamahabhutas, and those Panchamahabhutas, both in subtle and gross form, have got converted into this entire world. So the Lord has already arrived in the form of Vishwarupa. So now what should I do is the question. To have Vishwarupa darshanam of the Lord, that is the darshanam of the Lord in the form of the world. There is only one possible answer, which is you have to understand very clearly. If you want to have darshanam of the Lord in the form of the world, there is only one method. And that method is learning to see the world in the form of the Lord. Everything that you see around you, visualize the Lord in that. It need not be a human form. It can be any form. In and through every nama rupa, learn to see the Lord. That is the only answer. And therefore, what I should do, I should train myself, I should train my mind, I should train my intellect. I should learn to look at the very world as Ishvara. And when I learn to look at the world as Ishvara, then Ishvara is giving darshanam to me in the form of the world. And therefore, Vishwarupa darshanam is possible only by one method, not by Purascharanam, not tapas, not Koti Rupa Avarti. They are all meant for Rama darshanam, Krishna darshanam, etc. If you are interested in that, you can do Purascharanam. But if you want Vishwarupa Ishvara darshanam, there is only one method. I have to train my mind to look at the very world as the manifestation of the Lord. Okay, that I understood. Now, how do I train myself? And this training also is possible by only one method. And that method is I should clearly understand and assimilate the teaching that the Lord alone manifests in the form of the world. To put in a technical language, the Lord alone is the material cause of the universe. The Lord alone evolves or manifests to appear as the universe. And therefore, every appearance obtaining in front of me is only different versions of the Lord. Just as every ornament is different versions of that one gold alone. Every piece of wooden furniture that I see that is in front of me is all different versions of that one wood alone. And not only I should clearly receive this teaching, I should also assimilate this teaching. And only by receiving and assimilating this teaching, my perspective or my vision will change. And this change of perspective or this new perspective that I receive through the teaching is called Divya Chakshuhu or Jnana Chakshuhu, the eye of wisdom, the eye of understanding. Understanding that the Lord alone manifests as everything. And therefore, there are two visions I have. One vision I have got with my normal eyes when I see the things. I see a table, I see a chest of drawer, I see a printer, I see a laptop. That is what my normal chakshu sees. But once I see that, I have to now activate my jnana chakshu, my divya chakshu, and see in and through all those things, the Lord alone manifests. So the eye of that understanding is the ability to see that Lord alone manifests in everything that I see in the world. And therefore, it is not a physical eye. It is not a mystic vision that we are talking about. In fact, there is no mysticism involved in the 11th chapter. There is nothing in Vedanta itself, there is no mystery. All that Vedanta and the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita do is bring in a new perspective that is developed by understanding the teaching which started from the 7th chapter. In the 7th chapter, 9th, 10th chapters, Krishna has been trying to give only this understanding. Because a proper understanding can change one's perspective. I mean, Swami Paramathananda ji gives a very nice example about perspective. He says, suppose somebody comes to you and gives you one laddu, laddu, this sweet. Now, South laddu is very common in India, South India, North India, everywhere laddu. Mostly it's made of gram flour. But then they have got so many different types of laddus also. So somebody comes, let us take gram flour laddu. They gives a laddu. And you are an ardent fan of sweets. You like sweets. And you take it and say, oh, very nice, thank you very much. And you are about to swallow. At that time, the person says, this laddu, I had gone to Tirupati and I have brought it from there as prasada. You are about to put it in your mouth, you stop. Now you have got additional information, which is purely an intellectual appreciation. But the moment you get this knowledge, suddenly your perspective changes. It is no longer a mere laddu with sugar, gram flour, ghee, etc. Suddenly the laddu gains some invisible factor which gives it the status of prasada. This status is not physically visible, but which is appreciated through the eye of understanding. And that understanding is, oh, this is coming from Tirupati. This is Tirupati Balaji Prasada. Now, once this third eye, which is developed through this understanding, contacts the laddu, then it is no longer a sweet for me. I see it as prasadam of Balaji Tirupati, a very sacred prasadam. And the moment I understand it as prasada, I do not put it in the mouth directly, Before putting it in the mouth, earlier I took it with my fingers. Now I will transfer it to my palm. Just see the difference, how even we react to something which is divine. Put it in the palm, and before going to the mouth, I will touch my eyes and then bow to the prasada, rather touch my head. And then, with all reverence, remembering Tirupati Balaji, seeking his blessings, I will consume that laddu. Just see how much difference has come about. There is no difference in the composition of the laddu or any other laddu, even if that prasada coming from Tirupati has been made from some contaminated ghee. You don't know about it. But in your new understanding, in the eyes of your knowledge, this laddu is different than other laddus. Therefore, the difference in appreciation has nothing to do with the physical or material feature. It is something purely adrishtam, unseen, which is born out of understanding. And this is called divinization of the laddu. And it is brought about by a change in perspective. And a change in perspective comes through the understanding of knowledge. Similarly, a Nastika also looks at the world. For him, the world is a bundle of chemicals, protons, neutrons, atoms in violent motions, electrons in violent motions. That is the world for a Nastika. But for a person who has understood Krishna's teaching, world has got something more, which is not scientifically detectable, but it can only be appreciated through the eye of understanding. And therefore, in the 11th chapter, Krishna wants to communicate this idea that if you assimilate this teaching, a perspective change will take place. The entire world, everything in this world around you will have an extra feature which is non-physical. And that feature is, it is divine. And once I learn to look at the very world as divine, I see that God is giving darshanam all the time. I need not invite the Lord to come in front of me, as we read in the Puranas. I will not look forward to a Shiva or Vishnu or any deity to come before me, bless me, show the hand and say, Bhakta, I am very pleased with your tapas. Ask me what you want. Invariably, all the devotees will ask for living eternally, isn't it? Moksha, non-death state. Lord will say, no, 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 I cannot give that. Ask for something else. And when they ask something else, Lord will say, Tatasthu, and disappear. So, like the famous Roman saying, Veni vidi vici. The Lord came, the Lord saw, and the Lord gave, and then left. But we do not criticize that darshanam because the Puranas are full of such darshanams only. But Krishna says that is good, that darshanam is okay, but better than that, darshanam, which that those darshanam Puja Swamiji used to say, they are all Ayaram, Gayaram darshanam, God will come, God will go. So better than that darshanam is having darshanam of the Lord 24 hours. You need not even open your eyes for that darshanam. You can visualize anything in this world, and that is God's darshanam only. Your understanding is completely changed. Close your eyes and visualize some object. Visualize a mountain. Visualize the moon. Visualize the sun. Something you visualize, that is Ishvara Darshanam. It's like he said in the 7th chapter, Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayoho. When I drink water, when I see the sun, when I see the moon, when I am entering the river or whatever I am doing, I have got contact with the Lord, which is Nitya Ishvara Sambandha. Therefore, the question is whether you want Pratyaksha Ishvara Sambandha, in which the Lord will appear for a few moments and disappear, and that too you have to struggle for that great tapas, purascharanam, or whether you want Nitya Ishvara Sambandha, an Ishvara who never comes and goes, but who is ever part of your life. It's always there. Every step you take, Ishvara is there with you. If you want the latter, you should have Vishwarupa Ishvara Darshanam. And it is brought out by a change of perspective caused by the assimilation of this teaching. This is the important content of the 11th chapter. Therefore, we should not imagine that Vishwarupam is another form of God like Rama, Krishna. That the Vishwarupa will appear for 2 minutes before you and will disappear. Vishwarupa is the Lord all the time available in every nook and corner. As Prahlada says, that Narayana can be found in every pillar and in every dust particle. There is a beautiful poem in Tamil by Mahakavi Bharatiya. Many of you would have heard the name of Mahakavi Bharatiya. He was a very, very renowned Tamil poet. He has composed a poem in which he says, in Tamil he says, Kakkai Chiraginile Nandalala. It's a very beautiful song. He says he sees the Lord, whom he addresses as Nandalala, in black color of the feathers of a crow. A beautiful lines. The rough translation of the poem, of that at least stanza of the poem is, O Lord, I see your black color in crow's feather. Nandalala means Krishna. Because Krishna, is visualized how Krishna is visualized as dark in complexion, with that, peacock feather on his head, which has got different hues. Green is there, blue is there. So he says, I see your dark complexion in a crow's feather. I see in the green color of all the trees. In all the sounds, I hear your songs. And if I put my finger in the fire, I feel the touch of you, Nandalala. Because many of you don't understand Tamil, I am not repeating the Tamil song. But this is the gist, this is the vision, basically. In fact, I think the song is also there. Somebody who's more familiar with the film songs or song. I think Jesudas has sung this song. Somewhere, I have a memory. So, if you want Vishwarupa Ishwara Darshanam, you must transform your perspective of the world and see the Lord everywhere. And this is the background of this important chapter, Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. With this background, we will enter the chapter proper and now discuss the slokas. Now, ready for chanting the first sloka. Okay.
Yes.
Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha
Madanugrahaya Paramam
Madanugrahaya Paramam
Guhyamat Guhyam Adhyatma Sangitam
Guhyam Adhyatma Sanjinitam
Sangitam ila Sankitam
Sangitam
Yatva Voktam Vachastena
Yatva Vachastena
Yatva Yoktam Vachastena
Yatva Yoktam Vachastena
Mohoyam Vigato Mama
Mohoyam
Mama.
So the Anvaya is Arjuna Uvacha Yat Paramam Guhyam Vachaha Adhyatma Sangitam Uktam Tvaya Mat Anugrahaya Ayam Mohaha Mama Vigataha Tena. Arjuna Uvacha, Arjuna said, Yat Paramam, that which is superior, Guhyam Vachaha, secret teaching, Adhyatma Sangitam, named Adhyatma, Uktam Tvaya, has been imparted by you, Mat Anugrahaya, for blessing me. Ayam Moha Mama, this delusion of mine, Vigataha has gone, Tena, by that. So Arjuna says this supreme secret teaching named Adhyatmam has been imparted by you for blessing me. By that, the delusion of mine has gone. So in the first 8 verses, we get an introduction to the topic of Vishwarupa Darshan. And it begins with the Arjuna's summarization of what he has learned in the previous 10 chapters. So he wants to summarize, to convey to the teacher, hey Krishna, I have been closely listening to you. Don't think that I have slept off. I have not slept off. I might have closed my eyes to concentrate on your teaching, but that should not be mistaken as if I am sleeping. And therefore, in 2 verses, he summarizes 10 chapters. In the first verse, Arjuna summarizes the first 6 chapters To be precise, 5 chapters, beginning from 2nd to the 6th. The first chapter, there is nothing to summarize because teaching starts from 2nd only, from the 11th verse. Ashocya ananmashochastvam prajnavadanscha bhashase, from that teaching starts. And of course, up to the end of 6th chapter, in 6th chapter also, more of sadhanas are there. So what is the essence of these 5 chapters? The essence is Jiva Swarupa Varnanam. Description of the essential nature of the individual Jiva. And what is the essential nature of the individual Jiva? Not the physical body. Physical body is only a superficial vesture. If you remember the 2nd chapter, Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya navani grinnati naroparani. So this physical body is only a temporary dress which we have taken at the time of birth and which we will have to divest or shed at the time of death. Therefore, body cannot be myself. Similarly, the mind also is also a temporary instrument which I use in the waking state and in the dream state, and which I shed at the time of deep sleep state itself. To shed the mind, I don't wait for death. When I go into deep sleep state, my mind resolves. Therefore, neither body am I nor am I the mind, but I am of the nature of Chaitanyam, the consciousness principle. And here, do you remember the description of consciousness that we have seen? Swami Paramathananda's very famous definition, oft-quoted definition. Because whenever the word consciousness comes, we must repeat this definition in our mind. Then only what is consciousness will become firmly embedded in our mind. That consciousness is not a part, product, or property of the body. Consciousness is an independent entity which pervades and enlivens the body. Consciousness is not limited by the boundaries of the body. And consciousness survives even after the fall of the body. That eternal, all-pervading consciousness is my nature. This is what Adhyatma, which Arjuna is talking about in this sloka. And Krishna gave a brilliant description of this essential nature in the 2nd chapter, from the 12th verse up to the verse number 25. He gave the description. Then he talked about that in the 3rd chapter. Indriyani paran yahuhu indriyebhya param manah manasastu para buddhihi yo buddhe parasastu sah. Then 4th, 5th chapter also he presented the nature of Jiva. In fact, you should all revise those chapters and find out what he has said. And here Arjuna says, hey Krishna, I have understood all that very well. And he is very grateful also to Krishna. So he says, Mad anugrahaya tvaya vachaha uktam. Tvaya vachaha uktam, the teaching was given by you. Vachaha here means the teaching, the words of wisdom. Uktam means was given to me, was imparted to me, tvaya, by you. For what purpose? Mad anugrahaya, purely for blessing me, saving me from the problem of sorrow, which was described in the 1st chapter. What was the title of the 1st chapter? Arjuna Vishada Yoga. An episode or a topic of Arjuna Vishadha, Arjuna's sorrow, Arjuna's grief. So, to save Arjuna, to lift Arjuna from this sorrow, Mad Anugrahaya Toya Vachaha Uktam. And what type of words they are? Arjuna gives a description of Bhagavan's words. He says, Paramam Vachaha. They are the most sacred words. They are supremely valuable words because they are the words revealing the Atma, the reality. And not only it is the most supreme, sacred, holy words, they are also Guhyam. They are the greatest secret also, which is not easily or ordinarily available in the world because such words can come only from Jnanis. And Jnanis themselves are very rare to find in the world. As Krishna said in the 7th chapter, Manushyanam sahasreshu kachidyatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschinmam veti tatvatah. Only a few people who are interested in becoming a Jnani, they make the effort. And even among those who are interested and who make the effort, actually only a very few become Jnanis. Therefore, Jnanis are rare and Jnanis' teachings are also rare. And therefore, Guhya most secret. And secret also because even other people hear that. They won't understand anything. It is like, in the childhood, we had this, many families have this practice. At least my parents used to do it with us, me and my brother. They will want to say something which they don't want us to understand. So between themselves, the conversation will be there. So they will use some code word and some codes and all they will use. We will hear what they are saying, but we won't understand what they are saying. Many families I've seen, they have this practice too, where they cannot go. So the child is sitting there and they want to convey something in front of the child. If they ask the child to go away, child will become more curious. It will then, it will snoop around what these people are talking like. So Guhyam, very secret, even other people here, they won't understand. Then Adhyatma Sangitam, these words are called, Sangitam means called. Spiritual words, Adhyatma. Adhyatma Sangitam means they are called spiritual teaching because it is dealing with the spirit Atma. Not any other kind of spirit. Because in some circles, some people very, this is what, one of the problem with many people is they actually, trivialize so many things. So I've heard some jokes, people say, evening, 6 to 7 is my spiritual time. Means what? What they mean by spirit is a different spirit. Not the kind of spirit we are talking about. So it is not a material science, but it is spiritual teaching. And by this wonderful teaching, Uktam Tvaya Mama Ayam Moha Vigataha. My delusion has gone by your teaching so far. So we should now remember the context of Gita teaching. Arjuna surrendered to the Lord, uttering the words, Karpanya doshopahata swabhavaha prichami tvam dharma sammudha chetah yachreyasat nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. He surrendered to the Lord with these words. He says, on the one side, my mind says, killing my gurus like Bhishma, Drona, etc. is Mahapapam. Guru Hatya is a Mahapapam. On the other side of the mind says that even Himsa can be resorted to for protection of the Dharma. Because Bhagavan himself said that he destroys people. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam. So I was torn between these two emotions, Bhagavan, about legitimacy of Himsa, whether it can be resorted to under the present circumstances. But now my doubts are getting cleared as I listen more and more to your teaching. Therefore, I am mama moha. Moha means the delusion. And delusion can be twofold. Dharma adharma moha hai and atma anatma moha hai. Confusion regarding what is right and what is wrong, which is the ethical conflict, and philosophical confusion. And Gita is a unique teaching which is dealing with both ethical conflict as well as philosophical confusion. You will not find this teaching in Upanishads. Upanishads deal only with philosophical confusion. Actually, the Veda Purva Bhaga is meant to resolve the ethical conflict. And Veda Anta Bhaga is meant to resolve physical confusion, philosophical confusion. And Gita is a unique Shastra which deals with both ethical conflict as well as philosophical confusion. And therefore, Arjuna says, my mind is getting clearer and clearer. The confusion in my mind is getting resolved. And having summarized the first 6 chapters, now Arjuna wants to summarize the next 4 chapters. 7, 8, 9 and 10. That comes in the second sloka. We will read the sloka. Bhavapyayau hi bhutanam.
Bhavapyayaihi bhutanam.
Bhavapyayau hi bhutanam.
Bhavapyayaihi
Bhutanam.
Shrutau vistarasho maya.
Shrutau
Vistarashubhaya.
Tvattak kamalapatrakshah.
Pattat Kamalapatraksha.
Mahatmyamapi chavyayam.
Mahatmaya Pichavyayam.
Mahatmyam api chavyayam.
Mahatmyam api chapam
Vyayam.
So Anvaya is He Kamalapatraksha. He Bhavapyayo Bhutanam cha api avyayam mahatmyam shrutau maya tvattah vistarashaha. He Kamalapatraksha, O Krishna. Beautiful name given to Krishna. We'll see the description of the name later. He verily, indeed, Bhavapyayau, the origin and dissolution, Bhutanam of beings, Cha api as well as, Avyayam Mahatmyam, your inexhaustible glory, Shrutau were heard, Maya by me, Tvattaha from you, Vistarashaha in detail. O Krishna, verily the origin and dissolution of beings as well as your inexhaustible glory were heard by me from you in detail. So Arjuna's reverence for Lord Krishna is increasing chapter by chapter. Because of this valuable teaching, because before this valuable teaching, Arjuna had never admired Krishna as a teacher. He had moved with Krishna as a close friend, seen several other roles of Krishna, but here alone he sees Krishna as Jagat Guru. And therefore he addresses Krishna with a beautiful title. Hey Kamalapatraksha. Kamalapatra means lotus petal. Even though the word patra also means leaf, here Kamalapatra means lotus petal, not leaf. Aksha means ice. So he says, O Lord, who is so beautiful with eyes like lotus petals. So here the description of the external beauty is more to show the inner beauty. If you remember, right in the beginning, Gita Dhyana Shlokas, in which Vyasacharya was described as Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Hullara Vindaya Tapatra Netra. So Fullara Vindaya Tapatra Netra means one whose eyes were beautiful, like the petals of a fully bloomed lotus. It is now 4 years, more than 4 years since I explained this, If you don't remember, I will not blame you. I hope, of course, you can recall. So Kamala Patra Aksha, eyes like a lotus petal. Arjuna says from 7th chapter up to the 10th chapter, you dealt with Ishvara Swarupa. So from 2nd to 5th or 6th, Jiva Swarupam, nature of individual. From 7th, 9th and 10th chapters, Ishvara Swarupam, because 8th chapter is an odd chapter out, There he talks about, as we saw, he talks about Krama Mukti. So in these chapters, you described Ishvara Swarupam. And what was the description that you gave or definition you gave? You defined the Lord as Jagat Karanam. I know that the Lord is the cause of the universe. And that too, what type of cause? More importantly, Lord is, I know the Lord as the very material cause of the universe, which means the Lord is the basic stuff out of whom the universe has evolved. And if the Lord is the material cause of the universe, it means out of Lord alone the universe has emerged. In Lord alone the universe rests. And back to the Lord alone the universe resolves. Lord is Srishti Sthiti Laya Karanam, Upadana Karanam. As we study the 11th chapter or as we go forward, we must remember all these technical points. Material cause is the cause of Srishti Sthiti Layam. Just as the ocean is the material cause of the waves. The waves are born out of the ocean. They rest in the ocean and resolve into the ocean. And therefore Arjuna says, Bhutanam Bhavapyayau. Sorry. Bhavapyayau should be split as Bhava Apiyayau. Bhava means Utpattihi, Srishti. Api means and. Yayaha means Layaha, Pralayah. So Bhava Apiyayau means Srishti and Pralayam. And we have to supply the third one, Sthiti. Beginning and end means middle also is there. So Bhavapyayau means Srishti Sthiti Laya, of whom Bhutanam, all livings, all things living and being, Chara Acharatmakam Jagat. So this whole creation of things and beings, tvattaha, from you alone. You are the very adhara, the very ashraya of this entire world. More we will see in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavada everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskar.
Namaskaram.
ధన్యవాద గురుజీ.
Namaskar.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
1 hour passed
you,
off in a
Guruji.
jiffy.
Hmm.
And Mundaka Upanishad, now I don't know what are we learning, Mundaka Upanishad or Gita. Cause and effect is being reflected in both.
Yes. But Mundaka Upanishad, it is just like some trains, They will meet at a junction and then the compartments will be split and they will go in different directions. Like that, now Mundaka Upanishad, we have entered the second Mundaka. So beginning, as I said, the Tatastakar, this Lakshanam is being described. Then later on, it will move on to the Swarupa Lakshanam. And then Tatastha Lakshanam will be ignored rather. But it's all part of the whole teaching rather. So that is purely spiritual, philosophical teaching. But here Bhagavad Gita, as I said, combines both ethical and spiritual, philosophical. That's the beauty of Gita.
Thank
And
you.
we have to understand all these things. I mean, these are all just for not for entertainment, isn't it? It's a really perspective change, a transformation has to come in each one of us who listen to the Gita, who understand the Gita and what Krishna wants to say. And we are lucky that we are getting this teaching of Krishna himself directly through the, of course, words of various acharyas, right? But acharyas are also interpreting what Krishna has said only. That's a beauty. So you enjoy listening to Gita, enjoy talking about Bhagavad Gita, teaching Gita. That's it.
For sure. And
Okay.
thanks to you, we are also enjoying it.
But thanks to my acharyas, I mean, it's all small contribution for us, by us rather, in keeping the Sanatana Dharma alive and kicking. That is the main purpose, I mean. It's for what, Loka Kshema. I mean, everybody is meant for everybody. Everybody, whatever religion they belong to, these two problems, ethical conflicts and philosophical conflicts, are always there in every religion. Everybody has the same questions. So the Gita teaching is meant for all. It is universal, brother. So that is how it is. And Sanatana Dharma, a narrow interpretation is given, as Hinduism, but Sanatana Dharma is the eternal dharma of the entire world, entire human being.
Is all encompassing of
All
humanity.
encompassing everything. There is no religious issue at all in this. So Krishna you call, Christ you call, anything, Muhammad you call, Allah you call, all are, from a Gita point of view, all are Ishvara only. Various names and forms, that's all.
Yes.
That is the Vishwarupa Darshanam. We have to bring that idea into our mind. Anyhow.
It's a different dimension altogether.
Sorry?
It's a different dimension altogether.
Totally different dimension. Totally different dimension. That is why people who oppose Gita teaching in schools and all, they have got very narrow mindset, In fact, this is a teaching, if people really understand what it means, it is the best formula, best teaching for uniting the entire mankind into one. That is what it is.
Absolutely true.
So anyhow, that is what it is. Any other question or anything is comments is there?
Hari Om.
See you all next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram.
Good night, Guruji.
Thank you,
Good
Guruji.
night. Thank you.